Fred used to say at the start of iCarly?
I don't know, I never watched it.
You never watched iCarly?
No, I don't. You said that like it's... I've not seen Citizen Kane or The Godfather.
It's a seminal piece of media. You're in like the... Well, not now. I was going to say you're slap bang in the right age demographic.
I'm in a concerning age demographic to be into that show.
They remade it on... Well, they didn't remake it. They followed it up on... I think it was HBO.
It's surely not.
I'm sure it is. It's something adult. Paramount. It's Paramount, I think.
Paramount
Plus, yeah. It's got to be a plus. That's a subscription service.
Yeah, you got to pay for that.
Yeah, you got to pay for iCarly. Not like back in the day. Welcome to War with a Mate with me, James.
Me, Andy.
And not Fred from iCarly. Or any of the rest of them. There's no Miranda Cosgrove here. Just us two. Me, I'm War, and Andy's a mate.
Oh, we're switching it up, are we?
Yeah, one of us is the War.
Oh, okay.
For the uninitiated, which is anyone listening, this is a podcast in which we are going to document our playthrough of SPI's The Campaign for North Africa, a very, very long board game that's meant to take years to finish, and no one's finished it yet. We've got the board game, we're going to play it, and we're going to finish it. That's the plan anyway, and we're not stopping until we do, so it's a pretty damn good plan.
Yeah, we did commit to this before we knew almost anything about the game other than it was big and complicated. We've just had a little session going through the rules. How are you feeling now?
Elated. Excited. Can I use 2 words? It's elated and excited.
I'll allow it, but you have to use one less next time I ask you for a description.
Right, okay, I'll bear that in mind, because this time I'm both of those things. We've spent the last 2 evenings of our time reading through the rules extensively, for the most part in silence, and then giggling to each other when we realise how complicated it is. But you know what? After reading through today and yesterday, I am a little bit excited to play this. Not just to beat it, but I think the game itself might actually be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've always sort of held this position.
Right, okay. We went into this with very different mindsets, because I was thinking this is going to be horrible the whole time, and you seem to think it's going to be quite fun.
At least some of the time.
Well, I'm starting to get there. We've read through some of those rules. What it has done, it's provided a bit of revelation about how the game works, because we said in the first recording that we're going to publish all of the documentation as we go through, sort of what our turns look like and stuff. And now that we've read through the rules a bit more, it seems like a lot of the game is me hiding stuff from you and vice versa.
Yeah, it seems deception and misdirection are a big part of it. So we won't just be uploading everything every week. Don't know what the gap will be or when it'll go out, but we'll figure that out. What we will be posting is the stuff both of us can see.
Yeah, so the actual map, the board game itself, as in the board that we're looking at, the massive map, every play session that we finish, which won't be a full turn, but every play session, which will be a few hours each time, we will take a picture of that and we'll stick that somewhere, either on our website or somewhere. You'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see what we both see. But all of the secret bits and pieces, we'll keep those hidden. Unless people are really desperate to see, in which case I'm sure you'll let us know, maybe. And if that is the case, then yeah, we'll find a way to put that out there in a way that doesn't completely fuck the game. But otherwise, yeah, we'll try and keep it mutual, but we'll still be recording at the end of each play session.
Yeah.
That's going to be the way we document stuff.
Yeah, and if we don't find a way to get it out before the end, we will be recording it all turn by turn, so it might just be that in like 8 years we drop every single turn and all of the log sheets and such. Yeah, reading the rules beforehand, I knew there was a lot of bookkeeping involved. Didn't quite appreciate how much.
Yeah, it's going to be a real Herculean task, just keeping track of everything. But a lot of the stuff in there does refer to... I've actually got a bit of a note here that it talks about needing a lot of pencils, a large supply of stamina, a godly amount of pencils with erasers. But I've got a little note here that says, welcome to the digital age, because we have something they didn't in 1979. COVID.
Yeah, that's new.
Yeah,
and
no,
also Excel.
No, we don't have COVID. We're fine. We're not ill. We're not ill. We're just mentally ill maybe for doing this. Is that a sign of some sort of mental illness committing to this?
I'm not going to be asking a psychologist about it.
Yeah. Don't talk to your therapist about this one.
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
That's true. What we do have though is digital devices at our fingertips: phones, laptops, calculators.
Bragging here.
Looking around, what else we got that's digital? Lamps? Are lamps digital? Lamps are digital. You can get digital lamps.
Maybe.
You definitely can.
Okay.
Don't look at me with that. Don't give me that expression of shame. You can get digital lamps.
They did have lighting when this game was invented. That's not a new thing.
Well, I didn't say lighting. I said lamps. But we're getting off topic. You've really dragged this out of place, Andy. We're not talking about whether or not they had lighting in the 70s. I know that. What we are talking about is the fact that we don't need a ton of pencils and paper. We can track this on spreadsheets, like real wargamers would.
Yeah, and like almost everything that involves spreadsheets, we think it'll make things easier, and then a lot of the time will be spent handling them instead.
Yeah, that's why I'm sort of stuck in this place between will it be fun or will it just be us writing stuff down on spreadsheets. I think it's going to be both. I mean, if there's any accountants out there listening, I'm sure you find filling out spreadsheets fun, maybe, or at least they pay you for it. No one's paying us for this. This is sheer enjoyment, just the adrenaline rush of sitting down and playing a game for hours and hours. And usually that would be fun, but not this game. I don't know the way it's designed. I think it's meant to just poke fun at the people playing it.
Yeah, the joke might be on us entirely here.
But that's part of the experience. If that's it, then so be it. We'll be your jester. If that's what you want. If you want to laugh at us being fools, then fine.
Yeah.
If that's what you're here for, I hope you're happy. We're doing it.
Rein it in, buddy.
Right, okay, sorry. I'm angry at what they think about me.
They don't.
I'm angry at what they think. I know they're thinking it. The whole pencils thing, that's fine. I think we're going to shave quite a bit of time off with digital bookkeeping. That's a real good benefit of this. There were a few other standout points in the rules that I took some notes of.
I've got one from the first page.
Yeah?
That was concerning.
Which is?
CNA was designed as a definitive simulation. It is intended for sophisticated wargames and the serious students of history. Are we either? No, we told you on episode 1, we're not.
Well, I've got the same note here. It's from page 4. And I've got a little addendum afterwards, which is just the word Lamau.
Good band. Yeah,
no. Disagree strongly. Sorry if Lamau are listening, but no. They are. No, they're tuning in right now.
They're huge wargame fans.
They are the sophisticated wargamer and serious students of history. Yeah, that's not us. We're not either of those things. No. We know trivial amounts of history. And we're not wargamers. We're certainly not sophisticated. We're going to be playing this at the moment, I believe, on your floor because it's too big to play anywhere else.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's not really sophisticated, is it? That's
it's
tribal.
The opposite. It's lacking furniture.
It's primitive.
It's actually behind how they were in the 1970s in some ways.
They had tables back then. They had analog lamps and they had tables, and they were definitely more sophisticated than we. It does say that experienced wargamers will have little trouble digesting and understanding. That's another quote I've got from the rules. So we might have a little bit of trouble digesting and understanding. The digesting we've been fine with. We can digest it.
Oh, I've been having trouble digesting and understanding as we've gone through the rules.
But they're just words, Andy. They're just words. You can take in words, surely. You're a man of words.
Individually.
Yeah.
As you put them together,
they make sentences.
Issues emerge.
Yeah, they make sentences.
Which don't always make sense to me.
They don't need to make sense. You can digest them, put them through, and then your tummy puts all that together, digests it in your...
I've been reading wrong this whole time.
Yeah, you got to... When you want to take in the sentence, draw it in, and then goes down through the intestines. Is it the large one that comes first, the large intestine, then the small one? Like a filter.
Small first.
Small first?
I think.
That's mad. Surely not. How does it all fit through the small one first?
That's like a little bit of a bottleneck.
That was a weird hand gesture you just did there. You look like you were kneading dough.
Yeah, that's what intestines do.
They need the dough.
They need your food through.
They do need food. That's deep.
No, it's not.
Well, it's deep in your bowels. Well, it gets to the bowels. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're not even in the intestines yet of digesting this. We're still very much in the gullet.
It's stuck in our craws.
It's really tough to get through. It's like chewing gum. Yeah. It sits there for a while, and then eventually it comes out. Is it fully formed? Maybe. Is it messy? Yes. Was it uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yes. Will it be fun? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll enjoy the sensation. I'm hoping to.
It's something new.
It's something we've not done before. No one's done this before. People have swallowed chewing gum. No one's finished this game. What does that say about the game, Andy?
It's worse than swallowing chewing gum.
Yeah, it says that in the box, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Just on the side. What else did we have here? Another massive standout thing. It recommends... Did you have a look at how many players it recommends?
Yeah, I also noted down some of the roles that
the players should have.
We're going to be doing.
Yeah, so it recommends the game is for 8 to 10 players. And we mentioned last time it's competitive. So that's 4 to 5 players on each team. And they're meant to have different rules. They're meant to take on different responsibilities within the game. Have you got them noted down, did you say?
Yes, I do. Do you?
Yeah. So I've got, first and foremost...
Commander-in-Chief.
Commander-in-Chief.
President of the team.
Yes, the man in charge. The one who apparently settles disputes and disagreements within the faction.
So this is our primary psyche as we split.
Yeah, this would be if anything, the super ego. This is the forward-facing part that you show the world, that you show the team. This is what you dish out. This is when you say, no, this is who we are. This is what we're about. Which is a strange place for me to take up because I'm playing the Axis forces. But I don't really want to get...
You are.
That's who I am as not the Axis forces. Who I am as a very different man to the Axis forces during the war. They were probably a lot more intelligent than me. Maybe they put that intelligence into things I wouldn't, but they had more intelligence and wisdom than I think I do
let's
here.
Not.
Yeah, they were wrong, objectively.
Yeah, because it seems like you're praising them a lot.
I'm saying they were probably smarter than I am. They did this for a living.
They lost.
This is a hobby for me. Moving away from that, you've also got the logistics commander.
That guy seems to have a lot to keep track of.
Well, the game's mostly logistics, so that feels like they're really getting shortchanged. They're getting the shitty end of the business.
If we did have 4 or 5 people per team, whoever gets stuck being logistics commander is the unlucky one from what I've seen.
Well, you've also then got the rear area commander, which I will admit I read as the rear end commander initially.
Yeah.
Which is not a position.
He's in charge of morale.
The rear air command. No, that what they are in charge of is arranging all the supplies and the reinforcements. And because we're in this game stuck in the desert, getting resources to everyone in there is massively important. Because if you don't do that, you don't have any fuel, any food, any water, all the things you want in the desert when you're at war.
And it turns out the desert is hard on equipment.
Weird
and
that.
People, yeah.
Yeah, all the sand, all the heat, all the flies. We did a bit of research on the history of it.
Yes, there will be. Next episode, we're going to deep dive into the history.
Oh, we'll get into that, yeah.
But a lot of flies.
A lot of flies. In fact, to keep with the realism, what we are going to do in our first play session, which is coming up very soon, Andy, what I'm going to do is release a cloud of locusts into your home.
It's not even flies.
It's not, it's worse, worse. You've got clothes, haven't you?
Some,
yeah. Locusts love clothes.
Okay.
And I don't mean like trying them on and putting on like a little fashion show. I mean, they'll fucking eat them up. Like, gobble them up really well.
I don't... I would love it if they didn't do that.
We're sticking to the realism.
But I don't know about love.
The word is verisimilitude. It means sticking to the realism of an element, recreating it. Put that word down somewhere if you like. Verisimilitude. Remember that word when there's locusts in your pants.
And
I will.
You can't. You're not in the room with us, but you would have been able to see me not note that down.
Yeah. I've noticed that actually. Do you need us to take a brief pause or?
No, I'm just not going to remember it.
Right. Git.
Showing some verisimilitude about not learning the word verisimilitude.
Wow, you said that two different ways in a very short space of time.
Also probably used it wrong.
Yeah, I think you were using that in a very spiteful way, and that word's meant to be used only in kindness. So. Air Commander is the next role. That's to take control of the air. So that'll be your planes, your flying boats, seaplanes for the uninitiated, for those who haven't just spent the last 2 evenings of their life reading through this rulebook. That's pretty. Air Commander, it's for flying stuff. Yeah. And the frontline commander, that's all your things moving across the ground. Things being men, tanks, trucks, artillery, things that go across the ground. Frontline, that's what that's for. And it recommends having a different person in charge of all these different facets of the game. But instead, what we're going to end up with is us doing all of the work.
Yep.
And the power probably going to our head. Because the talk's there about the commander-in-chief settling disputes. We've got no one to answer to. Just our own ambition. And that ambition, who knows where it's going to find us. Probably
nowhere good.
Probably playing a board game, to be honest.
Several hundred hours into playing a board game we're not enjoying.
What it does say, thankfully, is that there's a quote I've got here from the rules. After pushing around the counters for an hour or two, you should be fluent in the system. And that's promising, because next week, we're going to have a full day to play this.
Yes. We're getting into it.
We're starting the actual playthrough next week. Now, the caveat is we're recording these in bulk. These first few episodes, first 3 or 4 episodes, we're recording them in bulk. We'll probably release them maybe all together, or maybe with a little bit of a break
maybe
in between.
One a week.
One a week is the eventual point we'll end at. Yeah. But these ones we are recording in bulk. The first few.
There's been a week between recordings. We just haven't released yet.
Oh, but we're recording them in bulk in the sense of we're stashing them away for the winter, and then we're gonna throw them all out like squirrels do.
Okay.
That's what squirrels do. They bury them all away, and then they rise up from the snow and they go, "Here's my nuts. Have them, please. Nourish yourselves."
Okay. The way you view squirrel logistics makes me confident for winning this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna. When winter rolls around during the game, I'm gonna hide everything. You're not gonna find it, and then before you know it, it's spring.
And you've lost it under shifting sand dunes, and there was no snow because it's the desert.
Yes, that's true. Actually,
and we haven't invented global warming yet in the 40s.
Yeah, that's true. So
it's going to be a hot desert.
Yes, this is before we destroyed the planet. Yeah. The good old days.
Yeah.
Back before we ruined it. What are we like?
Those intelligent, wise guys were around it.
Well, yeah. They didn't invent global warming.
Don't lean in.
They didn't invent global warming. They just did other really bad stuff. But yes, the first playthrough, it's going to be like a full day. We may even record 2 during that one before, one after, get a bit of a feel for it. So if we can learn the game after an hour or 2, in essence, we're gonna be in a really good spot.
And we are going to probably learn it in an hour or 2 because we are the target audience of this game, sophisticated wargamers.
So so what we do have coming up is not just the actual playthrough. Well, I say playthrough, starting to play the game, but we've got guests next time.
Yeah,
we can. Yeah, so we've got guests coming on next time.
I mean, if they don't, you'll edit this out. So
that's true. Yeah, so we can say whatever we want now. Actually, it's sort of fair game. So we've got a pair of guys coming on. We'll get more into it next time, but they actually know what they're talking about when it comes to the historical significance of everything that happened. They can give some real context to it all. So that'll be a handy opportunity for that.
Yeah.
We'll be able to get people who know what they're doing. So we're going to
serious students of history who, hopefully by proxy, will make us...
They'll rub off on us. We're going to get some real historical context from those guys. So that'll be good. Right before we get into the actual game, right before we sink our teeth in, really start biting away at the game.
And are you going to be using that historical knowledge, do you think? Are you going to try and play it out like they did?
Like the Axis forces.
As the losing side, yes.
As the losing side. Well, I'd like to think that the losing side, they lost for a reason.
Lost for a lot of reasons. We'll probably get into that with our guests.
Yeah, very true. And because this is a board game, no. I'm gonna beat you. I really want that dinner that you promised.
You're not getting the dinner.
I'm getting the dinner.
The dinner? No.
Getting the fucking dinner, Andy. It's my dinner to have. It's my dinner. What dinner are you after, by the way? What are you...
I don't know, my taste will change. Maybe there'll be a new food stuff by then. That's exciting.
A new food stuff?
Yeah.
So you take me to some avant-garde experimental place that I'm going to have to fork out my wallet for?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
And it'll have at least one Michelin star. And it'll probably be in another country.
Right, I'm not paying for your fucking flights.
No, I'll pay for my flights. You pay for your flights and my meal.
No. We're going to have to recap how the game works.
Well, we're not allowed to say a meal from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I don't think we said anything about that. To be fair, we left it very fast and loose as to how it is that we actually play out the win scenario. But but when I win, it's going to be very, very loose. What isn't very loose, go back to the game, is the stuff we have to keep track of for that.
It's a lot.
I've got a list of... So there's 1,600 pieces of the game. That's all of your different units, your battalions, your tanks.
Just
Everything that's around Africa during that time, North Africa during that time. And each unit you need to keep track of. I've got a list of it here. Cohesion level, morale score, ammunition, stores, water, capability points. You've got a lot of things to keep track of. A lot of things that are going to fill up these spreadsheets.
Yeah.
They're going to be busy little spreadsheets.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm looking forward to one of us being like, oh, and the fuel's all gone from that unit. I needed to do a crucial thing.
Yeah, I'm really worried that the game isn't going to end with some explosive showdown.
It's just a bunch of guys dying of thirst in the desert because their trucks are out of fuel.
Yeah. Or that you're going to go after my trucks.
I mean, I am.
You bastard. Why would you do that?
Fuck the trucks.
Fuck the trucks.
That's line one of my doctrine for this.
You've got a doctrine.
Yeah, it's mainly fuck the trucks.
Mainly fuck... Is it just fuck the trucks?
At the minute.
Right, okay. So you've just cobbled this together now.
I wouldn't say cobbled together. That implies there's two things.
Well, you've got fucking truck, so...
Yeah, I guess.
Which is, I imagine, the ideal lifestyle of a long-haul trucker.
Do they fuck their trucks?
No. Oh, right. No, sorry, I meant individual
Yeah, because my plan
components.
is to destroy the trucks.
Right, yeah.
So I think that's...
I was saying fuck and truck. You went with the original fuck the trucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd roll fuck into a battle doctrine. Because
Yeah,
there's rules for almost everything, but I couldn't find any rules for that.
Good. I'm glad that's not something we have to deal with as part of the game.
I mean, yeah, because, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really want much of a sexual component to this. Really not what I'm after out of this. What I'm after is a real board game for the sophisticated wargamer and the serious student of history. And that's exactly what we've got. We've got both of those things. We've got them at our fingertips. And I think we're gonna horribly neglect them.
Oh, yeah.
We're not gonna have a whole lot to say about history. We're not gonna have a whole lot to say about board games.
I mean, we will by the end.
You reckon?
I mean, by the end, we will be the world's foremost experts on this game, and in the conversation for the world's foremost experts on this conflict in general.
How does that make you feel?
Important.
Yeah? Yeah, and what else?
No, just that.
All right, okay.
That's all I wanted.
Oh.
Vindicated.
Vindicated, yeah, I guess if you refer back to this, you'll feel vindicated.
No, if I refer back, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm right.
No, you are, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that pained you to say, didn't it? You hated saying that I'm right.
It did hurt. I'm having problem with V words in this episode.
Really?
Verisimilitude.
Whoa, you nailed that one.
Yeah.
Did you Google that?
No. Also, how would that help?
Because you would... that's a good point, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would still be reading the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You idiot.
I'm not the idiot. I know what the word means. It's a kind word.
Oh. You really said, like you had something and then stopped.
I did, and then you felt that you were cutting me off. So no, it's gone. It's gone.
I was excited to hear what you had to say.
What would you like to talk about, Andy?
Well, is there any specific rules that have jumped out at you? Because there's a famous one for this game, as famous as anything related to an obscure board game can be.
There is, yeah. So the game is really, really in depth about pretty much every aspect you can think of about a war theatre in North Africa. So vehicles can break down. You have to keep track of water, food, all that sort of stuff for all of your units. But there's a very particular one that pertains to the Italian forces, which I'll be taking the role of throughout the game. Now, the Italian forces not only have to keep track of the water, but they need to keep track of the water for one specific reason. They use more water than any other unit because they need it to cook pasta. And that's actually part of the game. That is, I guess, a bit of a loaded assumption as to the dietary requirements of Italian forces during World War II. No idea how accurate that is. Don't know if it's just in there as a bit of a tongue-in-cheek joke, but if the Italian forces in the game don't have enough water to make their pasta, they fall apart. Their cohesion level, which is one of the sort of things you measure your units with, and it makes sure that they don't just fall apart at the seams and bugger off into the desert. If they don't have their pasta, that level just sinks into the floor. So that's an example of how granular the game gets. You need to keep an eye on your Italian units, making sure they get their pasta, or the whole game falls apart. For me, anyway. For you, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm going after the trucks with the pasta water.
We're not going to have a truck specifically for pasta water. We'll use the same water.
You'll have trucks for water. But yeah.
The water's for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's for different things.
But you won't have enough for the pasta.
It's for bathing.
That feels like a waste of water to run a bath in the desert.
Well, what do you do with your water?
Drink it, put it in my car.
You don't have a car?
In the game.
Also, where are you putting water in your car?
The radiator. Cars get thirsty.
I don't... Well, you had me with radiator because I know that relates to cars. But I also don't drive, so I don't know what the function of a radiator is really in a car. And I don't know how much you have to water it.
I think a lot.
Really?
Maybe.
I don't see people doing that.
Well, no, they're not in the desert, so their radiators keep the water in better.
Right, so they don't need... Yeah, so our cars in the UK are sort of like camels.
Yeah.
They've got hubs.
Our cars are reverse desert cars.
What?
Reverse desert camels.
What? So that's most camels. You don't get many camels that aren't desert camels, do you?
Again, we're
genuinely
not
asking.
Students of biology either.
I don't think it's biology. I think that comes
yes,
under...
it is. It's knowing about a living thing.
That comes under geography, I think.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I've just asked where camels are other than deserts. And we're not sure.
That's a camel fact, not a geography fact.
Camel fact? Sorry, that's not its own topic of study.
Yes, camelology.
Camelology is absolutely not real. I'm afraid you've went too far now, Andy.
The reason we're stuck on camels as well, by the way, is there are rules specifically for shipping dead camels. We've yet to find what you do with the dead camels, but you can move them around.
Yeah, so there's a part in the rules where it talks about what you can do with your planes. You can move stuff around, resources. You can transport fuel and food and all that sort of stuff.
You know, things that make sense to transport during a war.
Yeah, you want to move your fuel around. You want to move your ammunition. You want to get stuff to your soldiers on the front line. But it does actually have rules in there where it says you can't move certain things around, but you can move dead camels not living camels. And it actually says that in the rules, and I don't understand why you would need to move dead camels. Because I've not found any other mention of camels in the rules yet. And we've read through the rules.
Yeah, it also says you can transport live camels via truck. So are you just going to have trucks full of camels driving around, providing no strategic value?
But they must do something. I mean, you can't drink from them. You can't milk a camel. Not ethically. And you can't really...
Not ethically, no. And
you can't... Well, you can eat camel, I suppose. But I don't hear of people eating camel very often.
Maybe that'll be my meal.
At the end of the game, if you win, you want to eat a camel.
I want you to get me a camel meal in a Michelin star restaurant.
So we're going to have to go probably somewhere in Africa. North Africa, maybe even.
I mean, that's where camels are from what we know.
Yeah, and you want me to have a camel... Sort of like I imagine this being like a sort of lobster situation where you go across the dunes and you go, that one. I want that one. I want that camel there, him.
Yeah, and then you use a big claw to crack its hump open.
No, you're thinking of...
lobsters.
No, you're thinking of the grabber machines, the claw machines at Haggerston Castle that don't work properly.
I'm not.
Where they're really loose. So what they would actually do is just kind of caress the hump of the camel and then drop it back on the ground again.
Maybe that's why they're transporting camels around. Maybe they're calming to...
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm excited for the camel calming mini game.
Yeah.
Where you boost the morale of troops by creating a bit of a claw grabber machine.
They're about to be overrun. A couple of camels show up. Morale improves.
What a formula for success. That's how we're going to... This is going to be like Kraken Enigma all over again.
That's what I'm going to use the camels for. I'm going to drop dead camels on your units.
That's got to be a war crime.
It's just one of those things that's bad but not illegal.
Like what?
It should be, but it's not.
Can you name another thing that's bad but not illegal?
I could, but I'm now on the spot.
Oh, yeah. Usually you're a font of knowledge when it comes to that. You're full of bad but legal ideas. What's an illegal thing that's okay to do? You reckon there's any of those? No, you can't Google
laundering money.
Laundering money is not necessarily an okay thing to do.
Embezzling.
No, not.
Any sort of white collar crime.
Oh, it's no.
Victimless.
It's not. You're hurting the big corporations.
That's fine.
No.
Yeah.
Where do you think you get your money from?
Big corporations for embezzlement.
No, that's true. We're all part of the circle of life. So are camels. I don't really get why we're shipping them in these aircrafts.
Yeah, we will. There will be an update at some point when we figure out what the camels are for.
We're very excited to find out what the camel rule really means. But other than that, we've got a pretty solid grasp on the rules, and I am starting to get a little excited for it. I think it is going to be a fun game to play, not just a challenging game to play. Yeah. Say that, and then in like 20 recordings time, and we're just not having fun.
No.
You might be having fun. I won't be having fun.
I mean, we will. We'll have fun.
And again, the next stage is we start playing the game, but what we start doing is we play the smaller scenario. So it's just a little snippet. It's 6 turns, which should be about 60 hours. Yeah, giggle away there. That's I appreciate that it's not all that small. But that small little segment, we're not going to get super detailed with all that. We're going to save that for the real show, the real campaign for North Africa. The biggie.
Yeah, we'll break down basically us getting to grips with it.
Yeah.
Tell you who won.
We're going to hold our hands through this. Each other's hands, not just our own hands. We're going to be holding each other's hands. It's going to be very intimate.
It's going to be hard to move the pieces around as well with only one hand free.
Well, one hand on your hand, and then your hand on my thigh, and then my hand on the laser pointer to point at the pieces that I'm talking about.
And no hands to move them around.
No. That's all going to be theatre of the mind.
Yeah, I don't want to keep the entire thing in my head.
Well, we can stop holding hands during it.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, there's got to be we're going to hire a third party to come in and move the pieces around. Got a bit of a voyeuristic aspect going on with it.
Yeah, we should get a peace mover.
Yeah, I like that actually.
How legitimate in an enterprise do you have to be to get an intern?
Or
like someone getting like credit for like a university course.
Well, you need to be an enterprise, Andy, and we're not an enterprise.
Yet.
Ever.
We'll incorporate at some point.
I'm stating it categorically now, we will never incorporate. We will never incorporate. We're never going to be part of big campaign for North Africa.
We could be big campaign for North Africa.
We are technically big campaign for North Africa. Well, I say that. Well, I heard back from that guy today.
Which?
Yesterday, actually, it was.
Okay, which guy?
The guy who played the game. So we did a bit of research before we started playing, and there is someone who is supposedly playing the game at the moment and has been for a while. He doesn't have a podcast. I don't begrudge him for that. But it is something we have and he doesn't. And I'm just stating salient fact for the record. And we got in touch and he's willing to share a bit of information about his playthrough with his friends.
It's incredibly nice of him considering how you're talking about it.
It is. All I'm saying is he doesn't have a podcast. All I'm saying is he didn't take the time to set up a microphone and record every now and then.
What's a weakness of character?
Whoa!
Now I'm.
He was nice enough to spend his time replying to me, and you just said weakness of character.
I was talking about you.
Oh, fair. That's got you off the hook there, buddy.
That guy's fine now.
Oh, he's fine. He seems very nice. He's actually offered to answer some questions about the game, so. We'll probably fire a few of those over and hear from a seasoned veteran as to what we're actually in for. So that will be a unique bit of insight that we can only really get, I think, from this one person. So that's
or
unique.
Appropriate amount of mates he's playing with, potentially.
Well, from what I can gauge, he was playing with a fairly big group, and that's sort of tapered off. So we can't really risk that, because if we taper off, one of us is just going to have to finish the game on their own.
Yeah, that's going to be sad.
Yeah, you're not actually allowed to die for the next 8 to 9 years, because we need to finish this. I need to finish this.
I promise nothing.
Right. This is going to become really awkward when it's just me playing, and I still need to play it at your house, and you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to write something into your will here, buddy.
I'll pick a successor.
Yeah, here we go.
You'll need to do that as well.
I'll just slide that pen and paper over to you there. Just put your mark on it. There you go. Let's see how this... Yeah, it's a twist pen. There you go. Right, that is a piece of paper that says no. Thanks for that. On the back of the piece of paper, it is, once I have devoured the last light, I will pass through to the ordeal. I think this is a note from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it doesn't feel related.
Yeah. Because if that's what your mark is...
Well, that's line 2 of the doctrine. Fuck trucks, devour the last light.
Right, okay. I don't really understand what your doctrine is anymore.
That sort of translates into a lot of night bombings.
Right, okay. So it's a bit of a mantra for the stealth bombers of the night.
Yeah.
Right. No. Oh dear. You know what? I think spending the last 2 evenings just reading through these rules is taking a bit of a toll.
Which is really bad, because we haven't started playing the game yet.
Yeah, but it's going to be different when we've got the pieces out and the board and we're moving things around and we're playing a game, instead of doing just study and revision.
If I'd revised as well as we did the last 2 nights in any of my actual exams, wouldn't be here playing this game with you.
I was one of those people who would just sort of wing it on the day. Like, I would stand outside the exam hall beforehand, and I would flick through the book there and then, and just think, right, the things that are fresh in my mind, I really hope they come up.
Yeah.
And it got me to a place where I got just the ones I needed, just the marks I needed, to get into a comfortable enough place to be in the same set as my friends the next year. And that's the ship I sailed away on.
I mean, that's what you're aiming for.
That was it. Mediocrity.
Yeah, having fun with mates.
Fun with... Hey, war with a mate. Look at that.
Maybe that's where that came from.
Maybe that... I did always say that. I would go into the exam and I would go, hey, what is this? Some kind of war with a mate?
You were kicked out of the exam.
And everyone would look at me and go, what's he talking about?
This fucking guy.
And they go, have you not revised? And I go, what, for war with a mate? And then go, no, I don't think he has. No, he's not revised. I think he's panicking. I think he's having a panic attack, and that's why he's saying things that don't make any sense.
I think you're panicking now.
Panicking a little bit. Panicking about starting this game. But you know what? I'm going to have fun.
No, the game's
going to be... It's a game.
You're being very negative on the game.
No one makes games to not be fun.
There is a suspicion from reading this that this is a large practical joke on anyone who decides to play the game.
Right, I'm right. I got that as well.
Yeah.
So we're both feeling that.
There's a tone to some of them. I've never read the rules for anything really where they apologise to you multiple times and encourage you to stop playing.
There are a lot of parts where it says sorry in brackets. And I've not actually read another set of board game rules that do that.
No.
But I've also not read any other set of board game rules with multiple booklets and so many charts. There's 3 different booklets that are just charts.
Yeah, for you, me, and another one for you?
There's 2 for me, there's 1 for you, and there's a shared group of charts for stuff like weather.
Ah, yes.
Things we share.
Yeah. I mean, to give you a sense of the rule book we've got is several... Well, it's 190 pages-ish. And I did a breakdown of the turns with a checklist so we can keep ourselves honest. That's 158 lines long. And that's...
Oh, is this the Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah, so... That's a turn, and it's 158 lines long, and each line we both do stuff on.
Yeah, and that's meant to take... That's only meant to take 10 hours as well.
Only 10 hours.
Yeah, but when it's that many lines, 10 hours seems really, really short.
Yeah.
Because we looked at the air combat today.
Very in depth.
That's what
looks cool.
That's what most of... Yesterday we got to read through like a lot of stuff. Today we pretty much just we went on a bit of a tangent reading about other stuff. But it was mostly the air rules that we read today. And the air combat sounds really fun.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to doing the air combat a lot. It seems pretty... There's a lot to it, but it seems fairly streamlined.
It's like dogfights, and you get to pick your pilots and have individual conflicts in the air. That sounds quite cool. It's very Top Gun. That sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. It'll take a lot of time, but I think those play sessions are going to be really high energy ones.
Yeah.
So the
flash forwards were like, I love supply distribution phase. Air phase is awful.
Well, you know what? I was just thinking there. I had to stop myself when I was saying high energy, because the first play session we happen to have a day that will both be off together.
Yeah.
And we're going to be playing a full day of the game to get used to it. But for context, the usual circumstance that we're going to be playing this game is going to be when both of us have finished a full day at work. We're then going to reconvene and then play the game.
Yeah.
And we're going to be playing it after meetings or long days at work, and we're going to be tired, and then we're going to have to sit down and play for hours of tactical warfare, and then record right after we've played those hours of tactical wargaming.
Well, it adds to the realism in some ways, because I imagine the guys in the real war were pretty stressed as well.
Well, they would have been stressed, they would have been tired, but...
Probably had bad days at work.
Well, yeah, but that was their work.
Probably also had bullshit meetings.
You know what, that's definitely true. So anytime we come back from anything like that, I suppose we are dipping our toes into Well, not even close to what they were going through.
No, let's not do
Yeah, let's not even try and draw
Let's
the
not
comparison.
even imply stolen power.
Yeah, because someone's a coward and won't let me release locusts into their house.
Yeah, I guess I'm a coward.
You hear that, folks? You heard it here first. Andy's a coward. How's that going to serve you in war?
Fine, I'll know. Well, not know. I'll always run away. This game will just be a retreat across Africa.
Bit of a cat and mouse game, eh?
No, I'm just running.
Bit of a
More gazelle than lion.
more. What else runs away really quick? Sonic the Hedgehog and the. I was going to say the rings.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
No, they don't. They don't chase after each other.
What?
Sonic the Hedgehog has a gun. He's got an actual gun.
I thought that was Shadow the Hedgehog had a gun.
Yeah, did I not say Shadow?
No, you said Sonic the Hedgehog has a gun.
I'm gonna have to listen back. I'm sure I said Shadow the Hedgehog. Sonic.
You're editing this. There's going to be a very obvious cut where he just goes Shadow.
What do you? I said Shadow the Hedgehog has a gun,
Okay.
not Sonic.
I wish I had him in my army.
No, disclaimer. Shanik
Shanik the Hedgehog.
Shannon the Hedgehog. Have you ever done that before, where you Google your name and then the Hedgehog?
I've never Googled my name.
And ever?
No.
Just Google Andrew the Hedgehog, and it will come up right now with a bunch of fan art of some sort of song. By the way, I encourage everyone listening to try this right now. Google your first name and then the Hedgehog, and it will come up with horrible fan art of. I'm going to do mine as well.
Mine's alright.
James the Head. Really, is it?
There's this cool guy who looks like Shadow, but he's got a green coat on.
Mine is. I've got one here. He's in a kilt. He looks pretty trendy. I couldn't pull off a kilt personally.
This just hasn't worked. These are all sort of fine pictures.
Turn off safe search.
Ah.
There we go. I've turned off safe search. Yep, there we go. Gonna have to stop that there. Well, to be fair, I'm connected to your Wi-Fi.
Thanks, buddy.
So anything untoward that someone has drawn previously about James the Hedgehog, now it's imprinted on your digital footprint, not mine.
Great. I can't wait to get targeted ads based around James the Hedgehog.
There shouldn't be any targeted ads about what I've just seen, other than, I guess, kilt sales. Because some of them had kilts.
I mean, easy access.
Easy access for what exactly?
I assume something.
Running around really quick.
Yes. Leg mobility.
Running as fast as Sonic the Hedgehog. Phew, I don't know about you, but I think I've run out of things to say about the rules. Because there's a lot of them, but
We don't want to just break them down. I will say, I wasn't expecting this. There's a lot of stuff happens hidden from the other player.
yeah.
We mentioned it at the start, but that is an element that's got me kind of excited, is the ruses, counterfeits, lying to each other.
Yeah, being liars to each other, that'll be a lot of fun. I feel like what we really need to do is really test the mettle of our friendship. We need to see if we can really drive a wedge between each other. Because I think we've had it too good for too long.
There's two of us. We could very easily end a friendship.
I guess, yeah, one of us could actually just choose to. Actually, that's it.
Get out of my house.
I'm out. I'm leaving now. That's it. I'm done. No, I'll stick around to play through the game, and then that's it.
Just 8 years or so.
Yeah, give it another 8 years, and I'm done.
8 years, trip to eat a camel, never talk to me again.
I'm leaving you out there.
That's fine.
Cancelling your flight with TUI on the way back. Mostly because I'm saving you, if anything, from that song they always play. It's Darling, hold my hand.
Sing more of it,
No.
but I need to identify it.
That's all I know, because they play that bit and then I just mentally tune out.
Oh, that's fair.
It starts playing and then it's like white noise from there. I'm just angry. Just see red. Which I think is actually part of the colouring of their brand, so I see what they've done there.
They've really got you.
And then I feel blue, and that's also part of their brand.
Blue and red, eh?
Blue and red.
Pretty common colour. Jesus Christ.
The colour of the sky and the colour of blood.
Yeah. Colour of... Yeah. Got nothing for you there.
Yeah, you know what? I think 2 days of intense research on the rules is indicative of some well-earned rest. We've got a day in between recording the next one with our guests. We'll take it to rest up well,
Yeah.
sleep, recuperate, and then we'll return with our guests in tow. They're going to tell us a bit about the history.
We're going to do just enough research for Dunning-Kruger to kick in and make the interview worthless.
Yeah, we're going to try and chip in as much as we can and be overshadowed by their presence. And then after that, the next step is play the game.
Playing the thing.
Playing the actual game. Play the actual game. It's got to be done eventually.
Yeah, we can't keep putting it off.
Yeah, we can't. We just got to actually play it. Well, I suppose we'll check in next time. We'll let you know how we're doing, and you'll hear from some friends of ours, and we'll speak then. We'll chat to you then.
Yeah. warofamate.co.uk. There might be things there.
There will
be by the time this is up.
Yeah, by the time this is up, there's going to be stuff there. There'll be an email address, and you can send anything over there. Just send anything. Doesn't really matter what. Ideally, it's relevant. And if you're trying to get us to pay attention to anything in particular, we'll try our best. And if you want money from us, we don't have it. So don't try and scam us.
Because not worth scamming.
Because we don't have any... We're going to be scammed.
We have no
unscammable.
pins for you.
But that's it. That's it. It's like the end of Ferris Bueller. You still here?
No.
No. That's it. We're done. Never mind doing the cut signal like we're done.
We are.
This is the post-credit scene. Thanos?
Fine, I'll end it myself.
Good reference.